I have not done one in so long. I'm gonna do a trade breakdown, guys. I am sorry, it's been a while. I know I said I'd be pumping out the trade breakdowns a lot, but there's a lot of travel in between, and also market conditions are pretty tough, right? So I've actually been trading less, taking calculated trades here and there. So look, we've got this massive fat dump from Solana. It's not the fattest dump, but it's a good trade. Pretty lucky that it went straight to take profit. There was a hiccup. There were a few hiccups here and there, which I will walk through. And look, let's just jump straight into it, guys. So before this, I did take a trade in Bitcoin, right? And this was a loss actually. And I just quickly charted it up so you can see it. I'll just walk it through straight away. I'm not going to dwell too much on this loss. So the reason why I took this trade was because number one, we had this nice push down in price here, and we had a few liquidity levels that didn't hold. So we had this one here, didn't hold. We pushed up, a nice trap and reclaim, but it made a double top here. So I was a bit wary, didn't want to enter until we had this level where it came and pushed up, swept down. And once we had this close, this is where I entered at this candle here. So we had a little push down straight away. So it was just about here. Had my stops tucked above here and was targeting this low. And look, we had that little push down. I thought this looks really good, and I thought we were just coming back for a little retracement, but goddamn, we just got blown straight away. There's not really much I could do. Like, this 5-minute candle just pumped, and honestly, I thought it would be a lower high and would get a push down even more, but look, didn't work out. It is fine. Price wanted to push a bit higher. It came up to these levels and swept, then it dumped. And that's where I looked at entering on Solana actually, because Solana had a bit of a better entry. It was a bit late to enter on Bitcoin, so I went ahead on Solana. And Solana actually moved pretty nicely. So let's just scratch up the charts fresh. Honestly, I was also out while I took this trade. So obviously starting on the high time frames, look, market conditions are a bit tough, right? We've come down, and look, we didn't really enter this imbalance here. So essentially that's what was on my mind. I'm like, okay, we have had this imbalance. We haven't filled it up a lot. It's a lot of magnet. We have liquidity resting here as well. So it's a magnet essentially. That's what I'm thinking. Price could potentially come into this zone, all right, attract price, and then it could want to push up after that. So that's what I was looking at. And over here as well, if we have a look, we've had this sweep here as well, right? I had that sweep, reclose, a big push down. So I was essentially also looking at this 4-hour supply zone, okay? Right, on the 12-hour, it's the same thing as well, a sweep. It does not look good. We had no major close above this level, which is a bit concerning. There could potentially be more downside. So hence why I looked to go short when we came up into this level. So having an analysis on all of that, right? Now I'm jumping onto the 15-minute where I'm just looking for price on the lower time frame. So we've marked out our zones. We've had this liquidity raid here, which then pushed price down. Oops. We had this liquidity sweep here, which pushed price down. We have some liquidity target down here as well. We have this imbalance as well sitting that hasn't really been tapped into and filled. And yeah, on the lower time frames as well, we had that's that 4-hour supply zone that I marked out, and liquidity resting up here. We took out these lower levels of liquidity, but not a really strong push down. So that's what this was, still an area that could potentially get raided before dumping. So looked at overall market sentiment of it still being bearish. That's what also made me think, okay, let's look to go short here, right? And obviously, let's just play price out, see how it is, right? So now we had this cracker sweep, lovely sweep. It also took out this high, I'm here pretty sure as well. And it came pretty nicely into the supply zone as well. For this leg push down, like, we can even draw out a fib. We can see nicely it's come back into a good area to look to go short, okay? So we've had that close above these two levels in a supply zone, and this got me pretty interested. At this point, I still have not entered, okay? Right, so what I was waiting for a bit more confirmation where we made a higher low, And this is exactly what I was waiting for, right? We had this retest of this level. Price did not break above it. It actually respected it. So with that high low being made and that respect of that level, it looked really good. And hence I entered the market on this candle was mid pushing down, and I entered mid pushing it down. So I was around at the 54 entry, and I had my stop loss tucked up here. Now there's a lot of internal liquidity as well. And the reason why I'm not just targeting like these lows or just this low or this low or this low, the reason why I targeted this major low down here is because that amount of liquidity sitting there and that imbalance right below it as well, okay? And obviously I was managing the trade, right? This level, right? It could have easily swept this and pushed back up. Easily swept this, push back up. This level, right? I'm using it as levels to target, intermediate levels to target, okay? And look, straight away price was pushing off it. I was lucky as well to get this entry spot on, and it would have been obviously nice to get it up here, but look, still got a pretty nice entry. Stop loss at a really good level, because if it comes over there, guys, there's no point in still being in the trade. It's pretty much going to go higher. If it's already swept that level and going back to that level, it's pretty much wraps, right? So look, and we're getting this great push down, and look, honestly, it was just dumping. It was doing really well and dumping. Now we've come, okay, let me replay it back here. So once we had this clean break of this level, this is where I moved my stops to break even. No point of risking it. We've already had a nice push to a 1.5 R. There's no point in having risk on the table, guys. Like, it's a strong push. A really strong push. There was no sweep. Okay, so now at this level, it was a bit concerning, right? It looks like a little sweep, but we jump onto the 15-minute, right? Get a better understanding. So we still haven't closed and taken out these levels. And yes, I was like, bro, price has to take this. I'll be honest, guys. I was getting the shits here, especially with Bitcoin, right? Because look, let's jump onto Bitcoin, and let me show you what Bitcoin was doing. Bitcoin actually had a massive sweep, and it was reclaiming. And look, if we played out a few candles, you can see that push that Bitcoin was doing. And this had me a bit concerned, right? Because like Bitcoin, everything follows Bitcoin. Bitcoin's the major coin. Everything just follows it, what it does, right? Now, if you jump onto Solana, Solana was actually holding this level pretty well, right? Like, it even pushed down even more. If you go on the 5-minute, you see like, it didn't push up as strong as Bitcoin. It was just wicking. It was staying in this range. So I was a bit like, okay, that's a bit weird. Why isn't Solana also pushing up? Why is it holding this level well? And there was one point where it dumped as well. And I was like, okay, this actually looks really good. Okay. And yes, then we dumped and took out these levels. And yes, we took out this level. And this also had me concerned because we swept it, trap and reclaim, pushed back up, and price was starting to look bullish. And look, once we came up to this level, my stop was immediately at this level here, guys. This was my stop here, right? And the reason why I'm putting it there is because potentially we could have had a sweep of this, come into this imbalance and then push down. So I was just being a bit free with my stop loss. But look, if we play it out beautifully, just dumps straight away, takes out that liquidity. Right, and look, I could have targeted anywhere in between like this range as well, but the reason why I didn't want to is because, look, it's already a nice clean 5.5 R trade. There's no point in me being greedy and just having price reverse, because as well, I wanted to go to sleep, if I'm honest. And look, Bitcoin actually didn't dump at this point as well, so that's why I was a bit like, okay, let's just get out of it. We've got the win, why keep holding the trade? So that's the Solana trade that I took. And if you look back at my entry, it's so simple, guys. Like, I'm not using like any indicators. I'm not using like a lot of rubbish. It's literally just market structure, supply zone, demand zone, liquidity. That's all I'm just relying on. And obviously as well, I use the fib, but you don't need to use everything to give you a better edge, right? You want to keep it simple. Less is more. But yeah, so that's the trade breakdown for Solana. And there was also that Bitcoin loss. So overall, that puts me up a 4.5 R yesterday. And look, market conditions are rough. So I'm waiting for these clean setups of price. And yeah, obviously I was a bit early to get in here at this level. I really thought it would dump here, but it wanted a bit more liquidity upside, which is fine. We still got that Solana trade, which is good, but I'll see you guys in the next video.